Hello everyone, how's it going today? Joe Bodone here, video blogger and internet entrepreneur. In this video, I'm going to cover education and the two types of education that I believe that everybody has access to. And when I talk about each type of education, I'm going to get into some pros and cons of each. And then from there, I'm going to make a few suggestions as to the approach that I'm going to recommend everybody take in order to become a successful entrepreneur. So first we're going to cover your formal education. All right. Now that's your typical institutional education where in America, typically, because there's other people that might be watching this outside of the United States, so that's why I had to specify that. But, you know, you have your kindergarten through 12, right? So 13 years of your life will be spent getting your traditional education. And I believe that this is a very important aspect of life. And by no means am I suggesting that people do not go through their formal education. It is unfortunate that there are various people in our country that are unable to either afford it or are not in the right kind of community or perhaps don't have the right type of family background. And those people, unfortunately, by the way our society is set up, are already at a disadvantage. So this is a very important aspect of becoming a functional member of society and learning how to survive in the traditional approach and the traditional way that we're conditioned. Now, when I say that, what I'm basically getting at is if you think about going to school as a child, from the time you're a little kid all the way to the time that you graduate high school, you're typically going to school for about an 8-hour period of time, right? Monday through Friday, so 5 days a week. Your mom and dad drop you off at school, or you take the bus, or you walk, however you get to school. But typically, you're going there for 5 8-hour blocks for a week straight. Sound familiar? Well, yeah, of course it sounds familiar. Because when you're going to get your formal education, you're being trained, you're being conditioned, you're being taught how to work a regular job. Because when you go through that type of regimen for 12 years of your formidable years, when you get out into the real world, your mind is already conditioned to work that, to work those types of hours. So make no mistake, the formal education system in this country, although it's providing some very important aspects of a child's development, and that's one advantage, but the disadvantage is that it's conditioning you to work a regular job. Okay? So this equals a job. And that's fine, because you're probably asking, watching this video, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, thinking, well, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with teaching children how to work a job? There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. Okay? But if you want to become an entrepreneur and you want to have an unlimited amount of success and not have a ceiling as to how much money and how much income you can make, and you don't want to have to put a ceiling on the type of lifestyle that you want to be able to afford and be able to have, and the freedom that you want to be able to have, if you don't want any of that, working a regular job is a great career path. And, if you want to stay there, more power to you. And I'm going to encourage you, because that's where I'm at right now in life too. So, but I'm trying to encourage everyone that you can achieve more than just a regular job. So, from here, if you're lucky enough, after your 13 years of struggling through school, or maybe it was easy for you, but after 13 years of going through school, if you performed well enough, you'll be lucky. You'll be so lucky that you'll be able to have to pay an absurd amount of money, a couple $100, to take an entrance exam, to take a pre-college entrance exam. And then, if you perform well enough on that, then you might have to pay another couple $100 to apply to the university of your choice that you want to go to. And then, if you get accepted, well, gosh, you might have to take out student loans, and you're going to take out, $200,000 worth of debt before you even start your career. So when you start your career, you're already in the net negative. Before you even start, before you walk into your first day of your career job, before you collect your first paycheck, you're already in the hole, depending on the type of degree you got and where you got it and all that. But, there's a good chance you're in the hole $200,000 already off the get. For me, I graduated, 10 years ago, so, for me it was about 80. But still. So, this is probably higher end, but still. You're already net negative $200,000 if you choose to go to college. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to college. I went to college, and I think college is an excellent way to become educated. It teaches you how to critically think. It teaches you some very valuable skills. For me, I went away to college, and if someone goes to college, I do recommend that because it taught me some valuable life skills and how to live on my own and how to be on my own. But, there's a lot of good aspects that come with going to college. But not everyone can afford college. Not everyone has the grade level to get to college. So there are other options out of high school where you can join the military or perhaps go to like a trade school, become a journeyman or a journeywoman type of thing. Those are all noble career paths. But at the end of the day, all that is doing is training you to have a job. Okay? So if you persist long enough throughout your college education, eventually you're going to get the degree. For me, it took me 7 years to get a bachelor's degree, but I still got one. And, it took me several years to land a job in my chosen path, which was industrial technology with a concentration in manufacturing. Woo, right? I got a degree in that. Why? Because I picked it out of a book. That's why. I had no idea what the hell I wanted to do in college, but I knew I had to pick something, so I picked that. Good of a career path as any, right? So I got a certificate after all that, after that 7 years, and after building up $80,000 worth of debt. I got a certificate that was essentially a license to have a job. It was a license to apply for jobs and have a competitive advantage over other people. But then, and I'm proud of everything I've done up to this point, but once I got there, I've been working in that industry for several years now, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's hard. It's hard to get ahead. I'm staying right here. My net, increase in pay. I get incremental increases, but my expenses go up too. So, I'm basically net zero. For years. I'm flatlined. And that's never going to go up if I continue on the trajectory. So, there's also, we're going to get into the other, what I feel is the more important aspect of this particular talk, and that's the non-traditional form of education. When I say non-traditional, here's the deal. If you have a non-traditional education, you're going to get non-traditional results. Okay? If you have a formal education, the traditional education, you're going to have traditional results. So, if you want to set yourself above the rest of society and have a life above average, you're going to have to learn the non-traditional type. Now, non-traditional education teaches you how to become an entrepreneur. It teaches you how to make money without working a regular job. And, this type of education comes through And, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but it comes through books, comes through podcasts, comes through videos, bids. It comes through mentorship. It comes through online courses. It comes through trial and error. It comes through risk. It comes through stepping out of your comfort zone. Now, the advantage here is the upside reward. So here, I was talking about how you flatline. Here, your growth potential is exponential. Okay? This is your growth potential. The downside is this stuff is difficult to find. It's difficult to find the valuable stuff to look at, the valuable videos to watch, the valuable podcasts to listen to, the valuable books to read. It's extremely difficult to find a mentor. Okay? Some of these courses are expensive. Trial and error can be expensive. Risk can be expensive. Comfort zone can be painful. All right? But courses. I've seen a lot of different courses. I've seen courses that cost $25. Then I've seen courses that cost $2,500. Keep in mind that these are investments into your growth potential. With compared to $200,000 to have the license to get a job, where here you might pay $2,000 for a decent course, or you might pay $50 for a decent course. It all depends on what you're looking for. But this is an investment in yourself. To buy these books and listen to these podcasts, this is an investment in yourself. Okay? So the disadvantage is knowing where to go and knowing where to start. But the advantage is your growth potential. The disadvantage is that people are going to make fun of you. People are going to give you a hard time about it. Your family is going to discourage you. They're going to tell you, well, why don't you finish your degree? Now, this is what I'm going to recommend. And because this is free. This is a nickel's worth of free advice. I'm not making any money off of telling you this stuff. I don't have a course on or anything. This is just me talking to you guys and gals. I would like to encourage everybody to go through this. Finish, if you're 18 right now or whatever, finish getting your formal education. And most people watching this video probably already past that point. Go to college if you have the means to. Please do. And please learn. And please educate yourself. We need educated people in this society. We need free thinkers. We need, critical thinkers. We need people to know how to be creative and figure stuff out on their own. We need that. So, yes, I'm still going to encourage you to go to college. But don't go to college just to find a job. Go to college to learn. That's what's important, as long as you're learning. You need to learn. But if you're just doing it to get a job, forget it, okay? Of course, if you want mediocre results, go ahead and go to college to get a job. Now, this stuff, you can start when you're in high school. You can start when you're in middle school. This stuff, you can start when you're in college. You can start this at any time in your life. And the advice I'm going to give to my younger audience is, the quicker you start learning this stuff, the easier it is. I'm in my 40s. I just turned 40 about, a month and a half ago. So at 40 years old, it's a lot harder to learn this stuff. It's a lot harder to figure out how to be an entrepreneur. It's a lot harder to step out of my comfort zone and do some of the stuff that is necessary to become a successful online entrepreneur. This stuff, comes. It's a lot easier. But all this stuff will come to you a lot easier if you haven't already built up the mental blocks. You already haven't started getting kind of like pushed into like the traditional way society intends most people to be. That's why Robert Kiyosaki talks about his 95-5. That's why only 5% of our society makes 95% of the wealth. Okay? And, people can blame the politics and people can blame this and that and all types of stuff. But the reality of it is, the people that do this, they're the 5%ers. Okay? Or some people call them the 1%ers. So they say, there was that whole thing a couple years ago, like we are the 99%. It was the whole like Occupy Wall Street, which I didn't really understand. I'm not putting that cause down. I just never really understood it because I already started kind of, delving into this type of stuff at that point in my life. And every time I heard that, I'm like, okay, all right, I get it. Yeah, there are some rich people in this world that make a lot of money and they perceive that they put everybody else at a disadvantage. And I can see that perception. But I always ask myself, okay, instead of we are the 99, become the 1%. Become the 5%. And your pathway to become that is to learn how to do things differently. The people that are, yes, there are trust fund babies. Yes, there are people that fell into it and their, parents lent them money so they could start their business. Yes, that happens. But that's the exception to the rule. A lot of people that are here took a non-traditional approach. They got into real estate investing, which is that's a tough entry point. They wrote books and they sold books and they did blogging and they did courses and they used their knowledge that they learned from here to start their own business and become an online entrepreneur or just a regular entrepreneur. There's all kind of entrepreneurship out there, and I've talked about a lot of those options in a few of my videos in the past. So anyway, I'm rambling on here, so I want to thank everyone for watching. I definitely appreciate it. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave something in the comment section. I will try to respond to everybody appropriately. And last but not least, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.